ZPA browser access. Normally, we install Zscaler client connector or ZCC on client machines for us to be able to access the private web applications. So the ZCC has a ZPA module, it intercepts the traffic, and that allows us to access the private web apps. But what about in some scenarios where we're not able to install those ZCC on client machines? So these may be some contractors where we can't install the client machine, the client connectors, or maybe for organizational reasons, we're just not able to install those ZCCs. So in this case, the ZPA browser access is able to help. It gives us the ability to access the internal web applications without having to install the ZCC client. So we do this by using CNAMEs for redirection. Now, when the user opens up the site on the browser, it's going to do a DNS lookup. It's going to look up the CNAME, and then the traffic ends up on the ZPA exporter on the Zscaler side, the Zscaler cloud. So we're going to do the typical authentication. The browser will ask the user to authenticate, and we will authenticate it using your existing IDP, the one that we have configured. So once authentication is complete, we redirect the traffic to ZPA Service Edge, the app connector, and then the user will have access to the private web app without installing the ZCC. So the installation step is quite straightforward, just 4 steps, and we're going to go through each of these steps in the following demo. Okay, so first step is to upload a proxy certificate on the ZPA admin portal. It's important to understand that we are proxying, we are man in the middle, so we are proxying the connection. So we need to send a proxy certificate to the client machine. So first is to upload a proxy cert. So go to configuration control, certificate management, and certificates. I already have a certificate imported, but the workflow is we create a CSR. Let's do testing. And let's do give it a CNAME, test2.com, and then give it also a SAN, subject alternative name, create. Once it's created, we download the cert, and then we give it to our SSL admin, have it signed internally, and we upload it back here. Now, once it's uploaded, it's gonna end up looking like this. So this is the CNAME or the SAN, and it's signed by our internal CA. So that's done. Second is we add an app segment and enable browser access. So let's go to resource and management, application segment page. And I already pre-created the app segment, which is this guy. We have the FQDN and we enable browser access. So we have 2 options for certificate type, custom and managed. So custom means we're using our own internal CA to sign the proxy cert. Now, the manage is a new feature from Zscaler where Zscaler manages the certificate. But we're gonna demo it shortly after this custom. So let's go for custom for now, and then choose the protocol, which is HTTPS. FQDN is pre-created 443, and then pick the proxy certificate that we uploaded earlier, which is the Ubuntu Web3 browser-based. And then since my internal CA, since my server is using an internal CA, I need to tick this so that the ZPA, this SSL session from ZPA to my internal server gets completed, because it's always going to be untrusted because it's my internal root CA. And then that's done. Next is to create and allow access policy. A typical access policy will do. So in this case, I have a generic access policy to allow access policies to all my segment groups, to all my applications. And the last step is to configure the DNS CNAME record. So we get the CNAME record first, go to resource management, application management, and then browser access. So if we take browser access on the app segment, it's going to automatically show up here. So we expand this and copy the CNAME record. Copy this, and then we go to our DNS provider. In this testing, it's GoDaddy. So I have it pre-created here already. So I have Ubuntu Web3, which is my host name, and then I create a CNAME record. So every time I open up the website and go to ubuntuweb3.domain.com, my internal domain, the DNS lookup will lead to this DNS text record, and through redirection, it's going to end up on the ZPA broker. So we're done. We're actually done with all the steps. So we can go ahead and do the testing now. So here, let's open up a incognito window and browse the website. Web3, this is the browser-based access, and HTTPS. It's going to ask us to authenticate, so we use our normal username. It's going to redirect us to Okta, our IDP, and we get access to the website without ZPA enabled right here. And then another option is to use the Zscaler managed certificate. So the way to do this is we edit the app segment. Where's the app segment here? We use managed and then give it a name, testing or ZS managed, for example, and pick a domain suffix. So the good part here is Zscaler will manage the certificate. So if the certificate expires, then Zscaler will take care of it for us. However, though the limitation here is we can't choose the domain name, so it needs to be from Zscaler. So to access that same resource or same site, it needs to be pre-created here. So maybe we could put Ubuntu Web 3, then .domain here. So we can't just use our own domain name. And then still the same, 443, use untrusted certificates, click save, okay, and then done. So to access it, it's going to be here. We just copy this guy right here, the URL or FQDN, and we open it in our test machine. Okay, let's close this incognito and open a new incognito window. And it's going to ask us again, log in. And we get access to the website. But right now, it's the certificate is managed by Zscaler, which is actually a public CA. Okay, and then if we have multiple, if we have multiple private applications or private web apps, we can then use a user portal to manage all those browser-based access. So user portal. So let's log in. All right, it's already logged in, and we can use this user portal. So we have all our apps in the same tile, and just click this guy, for example, and we get the same site. Thank you, guys.